Greetings, sisters and brothers. This is Milton Alimadi, publisher of Black Star News. Please always remember to visit blackstarnews.com. An adjunct professor of African history at John Jay College here in New York City. This is my regular greetings to Pan-African sisters and brothers globally. Today, I'd like to spend a few minutes speaking on Sierra Leone. Every African, everybody who loves Africa, everybody of African descent should adopt the philosophy that a threat to democracy in any African country is collectively a threat to democracy in every African country. We should not allow any precedent to be maintained when it comes to threatening young infant democracies in African countries. Sierra Leone, as we all know, just recovered, in fact, is still recovering from a brutal civil war that ended in 2002. Sierra Leone is recovering from the Ebola tragedy. Sierra Leone is recovering from the disastrous mudslide just several months ago. Now Sierra Leone is at another crossroads. They are supposed to conduct presidential election runoffs on March the 27th. That runoff has so far now been suspended by the Supreme Court under questionable circumstances. Here is the brief background. On March 7th, Sierra Leoneans went to the polls to express their democratic rights to elect a leader of their choice. Ernest Koroma's term has expired, 2 terms, so he is no longer eligible to run. The candidate of the ruling party, the All People's Congress, APC, earned 42% in the first round. The challenger of the Sierra Leone People's Party, Julius Maada Bio, won 43% to Samura Kamara's 42%. Neither of them won the 55% required to avoid a runoff. And that is why the National Election Commission set March 27th as the date for the runoff. Now, at the last minute, Ibrahim Sori Karuma, who is affiliated, is a member of the ruling party, filed a petition at the Supreme Court asking for an injunction, a stay to bar the NEC, National Election Commission, from conducting the runoff elections on the 27th, alleging that there was fraud involved in the first round that needs to be investigated. Now, here is why I say this is highly suspicious. The petition itself and the decision of the Sierra Leone Supreme Court to grant the request and to stay the elections, the runoff. Neither candidate would be able to make up that significant ground. In other words, Koroma himself in order to reach the 55% threshold, would have to get an additional 13 points, 13 percentage points. And of course, the opposition candidate needs 12 points to avoid a runoff. That is a very large and significant margin. The reports I've read indicate that the balance of the votes went to other minor candidates. So why is it that an individual affiliated with the ruling party seeks to delay these elections? Might the true motive be to create an opportunity for some diversion to occur before the runoff election is conducted? Might there be some plans in the background to manipulate the outcome of the runoff? That is why I say this is highly suspicious. The whole world must be watching and must observe carefully what is going on in Sierra Leone. Nobody wants Sierra Leone to go back to the ugly days of the Civil War. We saw those horrific killings. Women being disemboweled, people having their heads or their limbs chopped off, vicious atrocities committed during that war, in addition to massive destruction. That must not be accepted or tolerated. Anybody, regardless of their party, regardless of whether they're members of the current administration, or whether part of the police force or the armed forces, that plunges Sierra Leone into conflict again, must be held accountable and prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And they should remember before they conduct any malicious schemes to undermine the elections, if indeed that is anyone's intention. They might end up sharing the same prison cell as Charles Taylor, the former ruler of Liberia. So all Africans, everyone that loves the African continent and democracy and the rule of law, should pray for the people of Sierra Leone to have a peaceful, uninterrupted, free and fair election so that they can elect the leader of their choice. And if indeed anyone tries to subvert the will of the people, we as Africans and people that love Sierra Leone must do whatever we can to mobilize global public attention and put pressure on the countries that finance Sierra Leone with development aid or military assistance to the armed forces, to impose sanctions on anybody who dares to interrupt or to subvert the will of the people of Sierra Leone. Stay strong, people of Sierra Leone, fellow African sisters and brothers. Don't let anybody provoke you into acts of violence. Just demand one thing, and the world will support you in that demand, that you must be allowed to exercise your constitutionally guaranteed right to vote for the leader of your choice. Stay strong, sisters and brothers. May the Creator protect you and your family and bless you.